Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you improve your way with words. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. 3 times a week, I drop videos on public speaking, social skills, content creation, and much more. So if those topics interest you, be sure to hit that subscribe button right on below, hit that bell notification, and never miss another video again. If you're a long-time listener coming back, you already know the drill. Hit that like right on below. Let's talk about the intrapreneur. There was no typo. The intrapreneur is a position which nowadays is being searched for. And what I mean by it being searched for is that if you go on Google, if you go on YouTube, there's tons and tons of different people searching for this key phrase, but there's not that much content on it. An intrapreneur is an employee in a certain company that treats that company as their personal business. See, I like the internet a lot because you could get a lot of different information on different topics. But every now and then, it feels as though that there's a lot of black and white takes on certain topics. And one thing that I've come to notice is that a lot of these times, people who are entrepreneurs, who own their own personal business, some of them have this very derogatory stance towards employees. They call them wage slaves. They say that these people don't have ambition, they don't have any drive, that they're flat out losers. Black and white thinking. My philosophy is a little different. I believe that everyone at one point or another should start a small little side hustle just so they understand what it's like to give someone else value and get a little bit of bread for it too. But here's the thing. A lot of different individuals don't have that life circumstances set up, nor the desire to start their own personal business. There's so many different variables that goes onto starting your own personal business, where for certain people who have certain qualities, it may be more smarter to work up within their company. And when you understand that there is a framework called the intrapreneur, it gives your mind certain modes of thinking that can help you in your journey. In this video, I want to break down 3 key traits of the intrapreneur. And as you're watching this video, see whether or not any of these traits currently resonate with you, or it has the potential of resonating with you. And then you can decide your next moves in your career. If you're ready and excited for today's video, go on and drop that like for me right on below. So quick little disclaimer. Right before I was about to make this video, I created a tweet on this intrapreneur position, and I got 2 completely different reactions. One person was like, wow, what a great idea. Basically when I said that this intrapreneur position exists and some people should strive to be it. And then I got a completely polar reaction where someone was like, this is the BS advice that my old school company used to give to motivate their employees. They would fire you at without second glance. You think I'm going to treat this company like my personal business? And he got really irritated. So just know that I'm only speaking to a small fragment of the audience right now. A small fragment that's going to resonate with this group versus this group. Okay, now with the disclaimer done, the first trait of an intrapreneur is dissatisfaction. What really separates an entrepreneur and an employee? And I'm not just talking about the behavior in itself. I'm talking about the mindset. You ever seen one of those people who come to the job, they do the job, then they leave? Other times, they leave a little bit early. These are the individuals who are very complacent in their job position, which is fine because I said that certain people, due to different life circumstances, has different priorities. The employee mindset is more so for people that are either performing at the exact level or below the level required. Dissatisfaction is what creates intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs. These are the people that feel too big for the current position that they're in. And whenever we have that, yo man, I feel too big for this exact moment, a flux of energy is created, and that's what leads to dissatisfaction, which is the exact opposite of complacency. So it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur without this level of dissatisfaction radiating in your body. That's not to say that you're not grateful for what you currently have, but dissatisfaction, tangible, made solidified, leads to ambition, and ambition leads to effortless work. Dissatisfaction should make work effortless. You don't always have to feel like, oh man, I need all this different willpower. I need to summon all my energy to do work. If you're dissatisfied, the work will present itself because you just need to do it. There's that urge. So that's the first trait of an entrepreneur. If you're not remotely dissatisfied, then fam, don't even watch the rest of the video because the other two are definitely not going to click for you. Number two is what I call the stretch project. In one of my jobs a couple of years back, I had this man named Neil training me. And Neil was a very charismatic guy. He knew how to speak in very simple ways. He would invite you to different social gatherings, and he'd make you feel like the only person in the world anytime that he was speaking to you. And every now and then, he'd be like, yo, Armani, do you want a stretch project? And the way he asked me, I started to get really curious. What's a stretch project? Now he looks around again. He's like, come here. This is the project that you can do, which shows that you're a winner in the company. Look, Armani, you're just getting hired. So if you can go way beyond what is expected from you, you're going to turn a lot of heads. You're going to solidify your state as a winner. Do you want some of these stretch projects? I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And within the next couple of weeks, Neil was delivering me a whole bunch of different work that was way beyond what I was expected to do. And I did it. I ended up learning a whole bunch more new concepts. And eventually, he primed my mind to consistently think of stretch projects, work beyond what was expected of me. Now, here's what I found out later on, though. A lot of the stretch projects that Neil was giving me was actually work that he was supposed to do, but he was too lazy to do. And once he left the company, different people were like, Armani, man, you know Neil pulled a fast one on you, right? He was dumping off his workload onto you. Now, I could have been extremely angry, where in the initial stages, I was a little angry. But later on, I started to understand that Neil gave me a mindset shift to always look for stretch projects, because within a company, there's plenty of opportunities for you to personally fix. And you're not going to look for these stretch projects if you don't have number one set out, which is that level of dissatisfaction. If you're treating this company like it's your own company, now you're doing something very miraculous, which I'm gonna bring up in more detail in number three. But the miraculous part is that you're opening up your mind. It's the difference between saying a statement versus asking a question. For example, if you say, I'm not confident, that's flat. It's a statement. You can't do much other than that. But if you ask, how can I become more confident? You open up the mind. The person who is constantly looking for stretch projects within their own company is opening up their mind. That's trait number two. And trait number three is to aim to be the initiator. I came to realize in that same company that I worked with Neil on, that there were different people who had very high positions that were on my floor. Eventually, one of the guys that ended up being transferred to the Tampa branch, his name was Ed. Ed was a scary dude. Big guy, 6'4", big, fat, and he had this strong Brooklyn accent. And a lot of the people I know from New York are the tough guys. Ed was a tough guy, strong Brooklyn accent, and he had no problem getting in your face and yelling at you. There were plenty of other workers within our company that Ed would at times embarrass. I remember him yelling at this one lady one time, Aruna, where she looked like she was about to cry. Ed didn't care. He would go at you. And what was more intimidating about Ed was that he was very high up in position where others didn't feel comfortable challenging him. I found this extremely strange because throughout my career with Ed, he would never yell at me. He would always go out of his way to be very nice to me. Even at times when I would forget to fill out the timesheets, he would be extremely nice with me. And every now and then, he would book a meeting with me. So I would go to his office and we would discuss different parts within the company. But there was one day that he was a little agitated with me. He's like, "Yo, Armani, for our past 5 meetings, I was the person who initiated the meeting. How come you're not initiating more meetings with me?" And I thought about it. I already knew the answer. I don't want to say it to him, of course. But I was like, because I'm just the small guy. You're all the way up here. You're the big dog. But then I did articulate it. I said, well, I thought you were busy. You know, you're the manager's manager. I thought your schedule is always filled. I mean, why would you want to interact with a guy like me? And that's when Ed said something that shifted my perspective. He was like, look, the higher that we get up in our positions, the more that we become the employee's employee. The reason that he was yelling at a lot of these other people was because they were in their position for very long and they didn't have that dissatisfaction. The reason that he was being nice to me was because I was new in my position and he was trying to cultivate that dissatisfaction. What Ed taught me was that no matter how high someone is up in their position, never be scared to be the first person to initiate a meeting with them. It could be as simple as, yo man, me and the guys, we're going to get a barbecue. Did you want to come with us? Or it could be, hey, I just want to have a one-on-one meeting with you because I was thinking about this different stretch project and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I said earlier that the intrapreneur is an individual who treats the company that they work for as their own personal company. With this, you want to know what's happening? The intrapreneur views Ed as their personal employee. Now you may be like, that's ridiculous. Ed's your boss's boss's boss. How could you possibly view him as your employee? Ed doesn't need to know that. But deep inside, that's the narrative that I've created for him. And when I create that narrative for him, I'm much more likely that he's going to serve as a puzzle piece versus just a random guy that I'm looking up to and fearing and being scared of. So these were the 3 main things that you want to see if you have in terms of being an intrapreneur. There's that level of dissatisfaction which makes you want more. Then you want to start looking for stretch projects, different holes in your company that are not being fixed. And from there, you want to be the kind of person that's initiating the meetups rather than passively being invited for meetups. And trust me, if you did these first 2, this one becomes much, much easier. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is meant to be an employee. And not everyone is meant to be an intrapreneur. But ultimately, we are meant for one of these things. And if you're going to be one of those individuals that's spending a lot of your years working, it would help if you find out which one of these 3 resonate the most with you. So figure it out. If you want some skill sets which will help you in your intrapreneur journey, be sure to check out the Armani Talks Bundle Edition. All 4 of these books cover a variety of different topics which will help you in your journey. You will learn more about the art of concentrating and building a growth mindset. You'll learn the art of public speaking and conveying your ideas with clarity and confidence. You will learn the art of social skills and how to network in strategic ways so you are remembered and people admire you. And 4, you are going to learn creative writing, which is the ability to convey your ideas in the written format. All 4 of these books are normally $120 sold separately, but if you get the bundle edition, you could get it for only $100. Sound interesting? If so, grab a copy of the Armani Talks bundle edition in the description box or the pinned comment right on below and unlock your inner intrapreneur. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.